Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our daily word this morning. It's a beautiful Thursday morning. And as always, I'm grateful you would carve out time to be with me and to share these moments with me as we talk about scripture and how it speaks to us and how we use it and apply it to our daily lives and what it might mean for us in all kinds of context. It's fun to know that folks are watching, and I invite you to offer your greetings and share with me that you are watching, as always, on any given morning. So, thanks for joining me this morning. I've chosen for our text a little portion of a larger story. And the larger story, of course, is the very beginning of Mark. Mark has called his disciples. He's been in the wilderness. He's been in the synagogue. He's preaching his first sermon. And then this happens. Just then, there was a synagogue. Just then, there was in their synagogue a man with an unclean spirit. And he cried out, "What have you to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth?" So this man with an unclean spirit comes and he interrupts the sermon, the synagogue, and says, "What have you to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth?" What a way to start the ministry, as Mark tells it. You know, it's really an interesting thing for Mark. You know, his first miracle isn't walking on water, isn't changing water to wine, isn't feeding the multitudes. It's this: healing someone with an unclean spirit. He had a mental illness. This first century description of a mental illness, an unclean spirit. And you know, folks like that are the most vulnerable in our communities as they were then. They're the most isolated in communities now and then. But yet we hear again and again of Jesus encountering folks in his ministry, you know, that need his help. I think it's interesting for us to think about in this particular text that this man with an unclean spirit comes, asks this important question, "What have you to do with us?" And Jesus didn't put him through a series of questions. He didn't question his family background. Did he have a job? He didn't question his faith status or where he lived. He didn't question who his friends were. Instead, and he didn't judge them, obviously, for any reason. And read the rest of the story. Jesus just orders the demons to come out of this man. He didn't talk about their need for forgiveness as he did in some other healing spirits. He saw this person as someone who needed compassion, as someone who needed help. And I think for us in our lives, where we too live isolated lives and where we sometimes fail to help each other or help the other person, that it's important for us, you know, in our lives, in our encounters with other people, not to question someone, not to question their background, but to help them. I told this story last night at church, and I'll share it with you, not to brag, not to boast, but just to give us an idea about where we fall. The other day, I went to the spot for lunch. I went last week for bean soup, and they didn't have any, so I wanted some bean soup. And so I went, I think it was on Tuesday, to the spot to get some bean soup. And it was after 1 o'clock. It was pretty quiet there, but I walked up to the counter, and there was a person, a young man standing there having a conversation with the girls behind the counter. One of them, it turned out, one of these ladies, it turned out was his mom. And he was hungry, and he was expressing his hunger, his deep hunger, and he wanted something to eat. And his mom was going this back and forth with him because she said to him, "Look, I know you're hungry, but I don't get this for free, and I have to pay for this. So if you put it on my account, I have to pay for this. And I only have this much money, but I need this certain amount of money that she mentioned to pay a certain bill, I guess." And so they were having this back and forth, and the girl on the cash register kept looking up at me, and they kept having this conversation. So finally, I just said, look, just put it on mine. Whatever he wants, put it on mine. And she looked at me and said, are you sure? I said, yeah, it's fine. Just put it on mine. It's not a big deal. It was a chicken sandwich, for pity's sake. Just put it on mine. Well, the mom had walked away, and so he kind of stepped to the side. And so I stood up there and I said, look, get whatever you want. Just put it on mine. Are you sure? I need to tell his mom. I said, no, you don't. Just put it on mine. So I paid for his sandwich. It was $3.25 or something. It wasn't a big deal. We both got our food. He took his to go. I sat and ate my bowl of bean soup by myself, reading, working on Sunday sermon, actually. You see, I think we talked about this last night at church, we all have these encounters in life where we are called to treat each other in a certain way. Doesn't mean buying something, but maybe it means offering love to someone. Maybe it means offering a helping hand. Maybe it means allowing someone to go in line ahead of us without questioning who they are or what their motives are, or if they're like us, or if they really don't need forgiveness or something else. You know, I've been told by people, Jim, you're just being taken advantage of. Well, if a chicken sandwich to a hungry young man who had expressed his hunger more than once to his mom is me being taken advantage of, then so be it. Jesus teaches us, I think, this important lesson in this. Jesus, his response to this man with the unclean demons was actually, his response was, well, quite a bit. I'm going to drive these demons out of you. I'm going to change your life. I'm going to be there for you. Our Christian lives require of us, not to give away our souls, not to give away our bank accounts. Don't hear me wrong. Our Christian lives require of us to respond to those around us without a million questions. We have that call on our lives, and it's important for us to hear it. So this first story of Jesus, it wasn't a big spectacular healing, but it was life-changing for this person. And it came simply by driving out the demons, by meeting his needs. We can do that for each other. We can make a difference in each other's lives. And maybe it's not a stranger. Maybe it's the person we eat lunch with, or go to school with, or our neighbor. Maybe it's as simple as that. And we just find ourselves in the midst of doing what God would call us to do. So, that's our daily word for today. I hope it's a good word for you, as it is for me, and a reminder of what God calls us to. So thanks for joining me this morning for our time together, for our daily word. As always, know of God's love for you and know of my love for you. And I will see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Have a great day.